So Nitwit actually had a pretty fun development history. The game Nitwit came out of my desire to make a game that featured Venn diagrams, because I'm a big fan of Venn diagrams. So what I first did was I figured, okay, well, everybody gets a whiteboard, they get their own pen, you can identify different regions in the diagram, and then you could key those into some adjectives, like, I don't know if the camera can pick this up, so we got round and cold here, right? And then you could have a lot of other circles that also had adjectives. And then you'd kind of evaluate this whole mix of stuff and jot down words on another whiteboard. At the time I was calling the game Venn Tangled. The problem with this was manyfold. One is that my daughter very keenly observed that it was very simple for you to do really ridiculous types of shapes. Or her favorite was going around the entire board and just, adding another word. The first thing I did is I ditched this and had players just write their words on the board, but of course then you've got problems where you can't read it. And then fundamentally, whiteboards and magnets are expensive, and dry erase markers dry out. I love this game, Telestrations. I don't know if you guys know Telestrations. It comes with lots of whiteboard markers. This is whiteboard markers from 3 sets, and they're all dried out and trashed. So for a lot of these reasons, we developed and kept experimenting and such, and wound up figuring, well, what if you get rid of the whiteboard altogether? All you really need to do is create circles. This was actually working really well because you can make these things just about any size and you can put them anywhere. You can put them on a table, you can put them on the floor, you can play on any surface that you've got. And then the trick was trying to associate words with these, so played with all sorts of things from like these little crochet hooks that I had sculpted together, and which were kind of fun but kind of clunky. So those are ultimately replaced with the clothespins that you see in the final product. And I did a lot of testing with a lot of other folks. I've got Rob Davio's score sheet here. You can see he played with me a bit. And the production design that Z-Man has done with the spools and such. Actually, part of the fun of just being a game designer is being able to go out and invest in, just try to find different spools and things that work. I just love playing with different bits and such. So that's sort of the brief history of Nitwit. I like to describe Nitwit as a social game, right? It's not a heavy strategy game, but it's also not a throwaway party game. I often have people over, we'll have dinner, we'll have a glass of wine or something like that, and people want to play a game. And I look at my big shelf, and sometimes I want to pull a strategy game down, and other times I want something a little bit lighter, something that I can get on the table, teach really, really quickly, and not have rules anxiety, not pull out the rules and flip through it and have everybody go, groan and wonder when we're going to start. Social games are lighter, they're faster, and they're also engaging, and they have a little bit more to them than I think your typical party game, both in their components and in the depth. You get to be a little more clever, you get to be a little more strategic without all the weight of a heavy strategy game. So I think these things are great when you're playing with friends after you get together, or with your kids in the evenings, on the weekends, that sort of thing. They've got a pretty wide appeal, right? Just about anybody can play these things. I tested this game with my younger kids, Nitwit in particular. And, it's really not about scoring the massive win, right? It's about getting around the table and being engaged. I like to design all kinds of games. I've done dice games in the past. I've done a bunch of co-op games. I've got countless other games in the back catalog from when I was a kid. This co-op thing has been great. I love doing co-op games, and I love designing Pandemic. But sometimes you need a little change of pace, and so it was fun to experiment on this game, Nitwit. Also, I really liked experimenting with materials, coming with buttons and spools, and I really, really enjoy that process as well. And what I think Z-Man's done a really great job of is kind of capturing that spirit. You get really nice materials in this game, and it's a nice change of pace for me, and I hope you enjoy it as well.